And she was like, Nili, you have a bleeding in the uterus, and they're not seeing any heartbeat, they're not seeing any development, they're not seeing pulse. So when they're saying pulse, they're not seeing the hands and the feet developing. And they're not, and they have just discovered that you have 2 fibroids. One of them is 3 centimeters, another one is 4 centimeters. Hi, my name is Kuboka. I'm a mother of 2, and this is my burn in the oven story. Now, my first child is a boy who is 14 years old, and my second child is a girl who is only 8 months old. Now, if I can start with the first burn in the oven, that's my son. My pregnancy journey from the beginning, I would say it was okay. The only thing that I had was the common, what are they called, symptoms, the one for cravings and all those things, just the first 3 months. But after that, I was okay, going to school and everything was okay. Now, it came to the D-date, and I think I never thought the pain was going to be that much. So when I started having the labor pains, I was actually feeling like, is this all that it's all about? The way people talk about labor pains, I didn't think it was going to be that crazy, that painful. I thought it was just, it's even, cramping was even more than that. But as I progressed into labor, I took almost 11 hours in labor. I started at around 7 p.m., going all the way to around 12 p.m. Yeah, so it was from 7 p.m. all the way to 12 p.m. I remember during that season and that period, there were so many women, and in the district hospital, these public hospitals, you are kind of put in twos, but I was fortunate to have one bed, at least by myself. And there was a woman who was also pregnant, but she was very, I would say, caring. And I think she thought, she knew I was a first-time mom. So what she did, she was the one that was rubbing my back during the night. And I kept calling everyone that I knew to come and help me with the back, but they couldn't because it was night and all that. And as I progressed, I saw blood coming out, and I knew this is it. I'm done. There's nothing, I don't know. Things are getting worse. So the doctor came to do the, how do I even say it? The one that they tried to check the centimeters. It was horrible. It is the worst experience any woman can go through. And I remember I was tested only once, and the next time the doctor was coming to check, I refused, because of how horrible it is. I don't know how they accepted to not check, but I refused the checking. Then at around 6 a.m., I'm in so much pain, and I was very sure I'm giving birth. Like, if this is the pain, I was very sure I'm giving birth. The doctor comes in at 6, and this time I'm accepting him to check because I'm like, we are on the final lap. He checks and he tells me, you're giving birth at 12. I'm like, I'm in the 6 a.m. period, you're telling me 12 p.m. I was calling them to take me to the theater, literally, because I couldn't stand the pain. but they couldn't take me. It was bad. So they did inject me I'm forgetting the name, the one that we do for accelerating the pain, inducing. And I'm trying to show you how much the pain was, that when they were injecting the needle for inducing and all that medicine, I didn't know. I only knew about the inducing after I've given birth. And when I was about to now give birth to my son, I remember holding, I had a chain that had a cross. I remember holding that chain, and I was telling God, please, for whatever it takes, make sure that I have this child, because what I've gone through, I can't just lose this child. Now I'm forgetting this part. In that ward where I was giving birth, there are other beds where, I don't know if people understand how maternity works in the public. It's crazy. There are other beds and every time, remember I'm in 6 a.m. cycle. Now every time I'm checking on the other side, another woman is coming in, giving birth, I'm still there in pain. Another one comes in, gives birth, I'm still in pain. And I'm seeing them literally coming in and giving birth and being taken away. Now, one that was right ahead of me, in front of me in terms of where I was sleeping, she gave birth well, but apparently the placenta didn't come out. So they had to rush her to the theater. And I'm wondering, okay, she gave birth well, but she's taken to the theater. What was going to happen to me? Now, on my far left, another woman comes in. She's in labor. They're telling her to push. The one thing that comes out is not the head, it's the leg. She's also rushed. She's also rushed to the theater. Now I'm thinking, now what's my case in this whole thing? It's like every other person is being rushed in the theater after coming in. But I remember holding the cross and I was telling God, hey, I need you to just help me and save me, because if you don't, I don't know. You know that point where you're almost giving God ultimatums? That's where I was. Like, if you don't come, me and you, we are done. I can't go through all this and then not be able to have a healthy, good baby. But God was faithful. I gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Did I mention that I didn't even want to know the gender of this child? Not only because I didn't want, but at that time also, checking gender and the scans were also expensive. So I don't know if I didn't want or the scanning part was the challenge. But that is what happened with my first son. I love him so much. So in my first pregnancy, I craved, the first trimester actually, that I don't know what happens to our bodies, but did I crave anything? Actually, I craved milk. I craved milk, and I did take a lot of milk. And the one thing that I didn't want to even smell was perfume, and specifically male perfumes. I didn't like them at all. There's a perfume up to date. If I smell it, takes me back to that horrible moment. So there's the perfume that I didn't like. I didn't like the smell of kitungu, the onions. I don't know what happens to brushing teeth when you're pregnant, but I didn't want to brush. That whole idea, as soon as I take the toothbrush and I put it in my mouth, I just want to vomit. I don't know what, people should come up with ways of keeping mouth hygiene. But as soon as I took that toothbrush, everything went crazy. But that was mostly in my first trimester, and also sleeping. I don't know what happens, but it's like we are really incubating. You sleep for like, I don't know how many hours. that was one of the few new changes with my body and my experience that I never thought I had. The hating of the onions, the hating of the toothbrush, and the paste. I liked milk. I loved sleeping. That was majorly on the first trimester. Now, going to the second trimester, I was okay. It's normally known as the honeymoon period. All the way to the third trimester, I was okay. My energy was up. I could literally walk from Mfangano Street to where Kemu is, and I'm okay, and back. So that was okay with my what is it called? My blood levels were okay. Every other thing was okay past the first trimester, other than the cravings and what I liked and what I don't like. But every other thing was okay. Now, going to my second pregnancy, now with my baby girl, I think we should underline that one. I thought it's going to be as smooth as the first pregnancy, because the other pregnancy, the only challenge was just what to eat, hating of sprays and onions. Now this one, I didn't even know I was pregnant. Let me start there. I didn't even know I was pregnant. So I was just going to my doctor for normal checkup. I felt none of the pregnancy signs. I just needed to go and check this female hygiene stuff. Female hygiene stuff. And when I was with my doctor, she was like, oh, okay, we are checking this, but also can you check pregnancy? And I was like, okay. Initially, my husband kept telling me, you're pregnant. I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant. It was a back and forth kind of conversation. And I remember when I was leaving the house, he was like, yeah, you're going to the hospital, but you're pregnant. And I told him, even if I'm pregnant, let me just go and confirm so that you know what to do in case I'm pregnant. I go to the doctor. She requests, like, she suggests that I do the pregnancy test. And I'm like, texting my husband, babe, I've been asked for these tests. And she's like, yeah, you're pregnant. I'm like, okay. So at the back of my mind, because we were trying to have this second child, I was now nervous. I didn't want the no. For those that have waited for some time, or those that are planning for a child, that when you're testing and then there's just one line, it hurts, it breaks. It breaks your will, it breaks, like, I don't know, it breaks the living part of you. So I didn't want that no part for me. So in as much as I was waiting for that result, I kept telling my husband, what if I'm not pregnant? This is going to crush me. I don't want to see a no. I didn't want to expect anything. And then he kept telling me, relax, you're okay. You're pregnant. I'm like, what if it's... So there was that back and forth conversation. And then I came, the doctor comes in with the results, like, congratulations, you're pregnant. I'm like, okay, I've been waiting for this, but how am I supposed to react? In movies, people are supposed to shout and like, oh my God, and all those things. But I was numb for a moment. I was like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to react? Am I supposed to text? So immediately after that, I just, when I came back to reality, I texted my husband. I was like, oh, we are pregnant. My husband was so happy. He left whatever he was doing in the house and came to the hospital. So when he came to the hospital, the doctor was like, okay, so now that you're pregnant, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to check this. Now, I didn't have that in my first pregnancy because it was kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but with the doctor, we didn't have that kind of a relationship with the doctor then. But this time, I had that personal relationship with the doctor, not because I know her, but she was intentional in walking this journey with me, even after hearing that you've been trying for this baby. So what happened is she was like, okay, from now you're supposed to eat healthy diet. You're not supposed to carry heavy things. And my husband was like, so what kind of fruits are we supposed to buy? How are we supposed to handle? It was like now an egg moment for me. I was like, relax, you're going to, now I need to know what to. So all I'm saying at that moment, it was an amen or an answered prayer for us. And we are excited to have that journey, to start the journey. We come out of the hospital, we are walking all the way back home. My husband is picking every fruit that he can get, as if like, I don't know, to put a stock for this baby that is coming. It's like it was supposed to just do magic for one day. That I remember was on a Thursday. I was on leave on a Thursday. Now, we were not sure how to share the message to everyone, so we are planning, so we are going to tell this one first, we're going to tell this one next at night. Come Friday, there was a kesha at our church, and my husband was supposed to be part of the team that were praying. At around 7 p.m., I get a very sharp pain. And for those that know me, I have very high tolerance to pain. But this one, I knew something was wrong. It was a pain I couldn't ignore. So I told my husband, actually he was fully dressed, ready to go to church. I told him, something is wrong. I have a very sharp pain and I'm not sure this is okay. So he calls one of our pastors that was arranging, and he tells him, I can't make it, my wife is not okay. So we call our doctor. The good thing of having such doctors is you can access them anytime. So we call her, and I tell her I'm not feeling okay. I'm having a particular pain and it's very sharp. So she's like, Millie, this is not normal, especially for first trimester. What you need to do is please make sure tomorrow, very early morning, go and have a scan. So we just agree, and we're very prayerful people. We prayed with my husband and we agreed, okay, so let's do this, because what else can we do? We can pray and wait. The following morning we go to get scanned, and the sonographer confirms we are pregnant. We're like, oh, phews. We thought we were off the hook. And then we had a job moment. When I mean a job moment, I mean in the Bible, where Job just received bad news after bad news after bad news. That's what actually happened to us. So after one good news of we are pregnant, the confirmation, the next thing I'm noticing, the sonographer is not saying much. And because I've never been to that hospital, I didn't know if that is how he behaves. And remember the other time I didn't go for scans, so I don't know if this is how scans are. So I'm not sure what is going on. Then he's like, oh, okay, now take this to your doctor. I take my document, and I'm a reader. I love books. I love reading. When in the bed, I'm like, this person didn't tell me anything. Let me just check before I go and tell my doctor this is the report. I check, I'm seeing bleeding. I'm seeing something, 5 centimeters, 3 centimeters. I'm like, what are these? So I go to Dr. Google. Dr. Google. I'm checking, I'm seeing bleeding in the uterus. I'm like, what is this? I'm checking, I'm seeing whatever names are using. Whatever I'm reading and whatever I'm expecting, they're not matching. So I just took a screenshot of that document. I couldn't wait for tomorrow. I took a screenshot of that document and I sent it immediately to my doctor. And I was like, I received this. What is this? And she was like, Millie, you have a bleeding in the uterus, and they're not seeing any heartbeat. They're not seeing any development. They're not seeing pulse. So when they're saying pulse, they're not seeing the hands and the feet developing. And they're not, and they have just discovered that you have 2 fibroids. One of them is 3 centimeters, another one is 4 centimeters. Now, ladies, how do you have bleeding in the uterus, fibroids, and the baby is not developing? There's no heartbeat, but you're pregnant. So she was like, come tomorrow, we discuss in detail. So we go the following day. I remember seeing my husband broken. I don't think I've seen him broken in that level, because he felt why am I also fighting to just have this child? Like, why am I going through this? Why are we going through this? He was at the point of, we can't be going through. The first one was pain and all this news. No, this is not good. And we went to the hospital and I was like, what is going on? Then the doc is like, okay, the realities are, Millie, you're bleeding in your uterus and there are 2 fibroids, one on the left. The devil is so, one on the left, one on the right. And also the heartbeat is not there and the pulse are not there. So you have to have an immediate scan in 2 weeks. Now, this is what she told me. If this baby does not develop, that was the 6th week. If this baby does not develop in the next 2 weeks, now the 8th week, we have to remove this pregnancy. So you're wondering, are you even going to say to anyone you're pregnant because there's a threat to this baby? So what are you going to do? Not share, other than share now to my spiritual authority, my father in the faith. So we say, okay, so what's the thing to do? So she was like, I need you to have an immediate bed rest first. And then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to observe what is going on. We pray. Hey, prayers work. Yeah, prayers work. So we pray and we tell my spiritual authority, that is Bishop Eric Monkey of New Breed City Chapel. We tell him and we're telling him now, we are breaking the news of pregnancy with such news. That is on Saturday now. I'm trying to make sure that you get the dates and the days to see the miracle of this child. On Thursday, we get pregnant. We find out you're pregnant. Friday, I have a pain. We go scan, we get bad news. Saturday, we are confirmed pregnancy, but still bad news. Now, that is on Saturday. Come the following week on Thursday. Remember, I'm supposed to have at least 2 weeks before I go for another checkup. Come on Thursday. At night at around 11, I was on a phone call on bed. After that phone call, I felt wet. And I was like, hey, why am I feeling baridi fulani hapa kwa bed? I know I've not taken water from bed. I've not taken tea from bed. Why is this place wet? So I sent my husband, because I didn't want him to panic, because I kind of sensed what was going on. So I sent my husband to go and get me a tissue so that I can wipe to know, what is this wet thing? Is it this liquid? Is it water? What is it? So I get the tissue, and when I wiped like this, my fears were confirmed. I was bleeding. So I'm wondering, okay, why am I bleeding just a few days after pregnancy confirmation? Am I miscarriaging, or what is going on? So my husband saw that and he was like, this, I can't. We called our bishop again, and after he talked, my bishop prayed and he said that baby is going to stay. My husband went to pray, and I remember at the bed, I just said to myself, according to your word, Lord, you have said there's not going to be any miscarriage or barrenness in the land. I'm not going to miscarry, and I'm going to keep this baby. And I slept. I remember there was a certain peace when I said those words, and I just sat there. I just slept all through the night. Waking up, I was hoping the bleeding maybe has stopped miraculously or something. The bleeding was still there. So we had to rush to the hospital. I know someone might be like, why didn't you go immediately? No, there was just a particular peace that I had that things were okay. So we went the following day, now to a different hospital. And now this new sonographer, this was the irony, she's also called Millie like me. And she looked so unbothered by what we were telling her. Like, I'm trying to tell her I'm bleeding, I need to check this, I need to check this, but she's like, no, she's not even saying anything. She's just minding her own things. At the back of my mind, I'm like, you're rude. Why are you not even, you're not concerned? My husband, on the other hand, is like, do we need to go to another hospital? This one, she looks like she's not even concerned at all. But we later realized it was her way of making sure that you are calm in that moment, because we were all panicking. Do we have pregnancy or do we not have it? Now, she tells me, okay, lie here. She does her thing. Now, at this point, I don't know if I'm pregnant or not because I was bleeding. She does her thing, takes the photos and all those things. Then she's like, okay, can I show you? I'm like, yeah. Now, the thing is, the baby that did not have heartbeats or pulse, this time she has the strongest heartbeats. And then she has the tuvidoles and all this coming out. And the bleeding is not there. Now, the only thing that we are fighting is fibroids. I'm like, eh? Good news. So we are still pregnant. Okay, sawa. So we go back to my doctor with good news. She's excited for us. But now she puts me on something called Sustain. Yeah? That medicine is the worst of them all. It's like having your normal hormonal changes now added. If you are, how do I put it? If you are nauseated, now times 2. If you are, I don't know how to explain it, but all the worst feelings of morning sickness that you think is morning, that normally goes all the way from morning to evening, times 2 of that. Now I'm put on that drug, and I'm supposed to go back to work, but again I'm still on bed rest. My employer doesn't want to hear that. My employer wants me at work. And the kind of work I was doing, I was supposed to at least move around, and yet I'm not supposed to move around. Now, we just decided with my husband, we can't risk my life. And that's how I resigned, lost my job. But the beauty of it is we were taking care of something amazing. So regardless of what we lost, something good was coming. Now I'm on Sustain. Now I can't, Sustain is, I don't know, but Sustain is the worst thing. At this point with Sustain medicine, I can't eat anything. As soon as I put something in my mouth, it comes out. I'm not talking about it stays for 10 minutes. As soon as it's in, it's out. I can't take water. The trick of put lemon in water is not working. I'm told try an alternative of watermelon. It's not working. I'm given glucose. It's not working. I'm given Lucozade. It's not working. Now another threat to the baby, because the mother is not feeding. The baby is not getting anything. No nutrients, no nothing, no water. I'm telling you, out of that, because I'm not feeding and I'm not eating, the next thing that happened is I get low blood pressure. Risk to the baby. I'm rushed to the hospital. Now, my doctor is like, we have to put you on drips to at least put your pressure up and make sure that you have at least minerals to sustain this baby. Now that becomes a thing. This first trimester, what else? So that was mainly the things that were happening. No eating, no food, just drips. And then I'm taken, after 12 weeks, I'm removed from Sustain. At least now I can do 1, 2, 3 as a normal person. Come second trimester, I'm happy. At least I'm now in the honeymoon period of the pregnancy. Oh, I only lasted 1 month of that. When every other person goes through this, the whole 3 months of honeymoon. Mine only lasted 1 month. And I remember that it was actually January of 2023. And I was very happy. I'm like, hey, now I'm back to normal and all this. Mark you, I don't look like what I'm going through. By the way, I'm looking all glorious. I'm looking all amazing. That anyone that is looking at me is like, Aki, this pregnancy has favored you. I'm like, what are you saying? And then like, hey, you're looking good. Aki, you have nice pregnancy. It's not showing. Yeah, actually, both of my pregnancies, they hide. They go somewhere. And like, Aki, it's not showing. I'm like, eh? Okay, I just tell them thanks, but at the back of my mind, I'm like, you have no idea what I'm going through. You have no idea. At some point, I was even feeling like shutting them up. Like, stop. I'm feeling worse. January, okay. Feb, I start developing leg problems. All of a sudden, I can't stand for long. I can't sit for long. I'm like, okay, I'm not that heavy. What's going on? So I'm left to doing things now as if I'm in the first trimester, being mindful of how I'm walking. I can't sit for long. Even when I go to church, I'm straining. And I'm in my second trimester, and my pregnancy is not that heavy. So I kept checking my pressure because it kept going down every now and then. It would affect a lot of many things. But I got the trick from another doctor that when your pressure is going low, not for high, please, not for high, you take that mixture that we give our babies, the 1 tablespoon of sugar and half of salt, that mixture. It kind of helps to, please, I'm not advising anyone to to do that, but it worked for me. Every time I could feel sick, I always carried that mixture with me. Now, second trimester, leg issues. Third trimester, hey. Literally, I can't sit for long. I need to lie down. What else am I supposed to do? I need to lie down. I can't sit for long. I can't turn. I don't know what happens with pregnancy, third trimester. You can't even turn normally on bed. You have to you have to calculate how you're turning. My back is aching, and then there's this thing of sleep on your left. It's not working. Hey, my goodness. I'm trying to lift or to sleep on my left. That's when my baby is almost at my, where? Throat. I don't know how to explain. I can't breathe. It's painful. So, and Maki, I don't have a big pregnancy, and I don't have a big baby. So, all these are new. Everything is, I forgot. In my first pregnancy, I had acne. In the first trimester, this one, smooth, amazing pregnancy. Now come to third trimester, I can't move around literally. And then I'm getting this advice from people that I need to walk a bit so that baby can go down to trigger labor. How are you telling someone that cannot walk to walk a bit? I'm talking about even moving from my bed to washroom was a problem. Hiya, I forgot to say this. In my first trimester of this pregnancy, I couldn't even bathe myself. My husband had to do that. Sina nguvu. Now this time, third trimester, we are almost going back. Moving is a problem. I can't walk for long, and I'm being told, move, tembea kidogo, teremshe mtoto. I got to a point and I told these people, you know what? I'm not walking, because as soon as I start walking, I am in pain. I am not walking. I am not doing any traditional thing. This baby will come the way this baby will come, but I am not doing anything. Leave me alone. So at this point, wakati tunasema leave me alone, I'm almost at my I'm almost at my final week of the journey. Hiyo ndio ile time yenye mpaka unasikianga unaweza ambia doki, by the can we remove this baby? It's okay. You can just cut me open and it's okay. But I give you permission. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm past my due date. And then this baby is just sitting on bonus. Ni kama unaona venye mtu anakwanga amerent nyumba alafu anaambiwa unaweza kalia deposit. My baby was sitting on deposit. Literally. Baby is not showing any. Like I have every sign of I'm having these two false labors, but nothing. Baby is, my doctor is checking because I'm feeling the head, but a bad dog. I remember texting my doc and I told my doc, and every time I'm going for scan, the dates keep changing. From May, now we are going now to June. And I told my doctor, you know what? I am booking myself to your hospital and I'm going to make sure that I definitely have an operation or induced labor, whatever it is, but I'm not staying. Hey, my doctor was like, just let's wait a little bit. Let's not rush this whole process. And I'm like, apana, me, I can't stand this pain, this discomfort. It's too much. Then, I remember there's a day we were booking with my husband and we even agreed because for him, he was yearning to see the baby and for me, I was getting ready to be done with this whole journey. Now for him, he was like, actually, let's go and book for Monday so that you can be induced. Hey? My husband was helping me do something in the house and then he's just heard, do not touch that baby. Yeah. Have you ever been mad at God? Like, God, you need to have a meeting. You are very unfair and you can't do this to me. But at this point, he was helping me and he heard the Lord say, you can't touch that baby. Leave that baby alone. So when I left, so he comes and is like, hey, babe, I know you want to go and book for Monday, but this is what I've heard. You are not going to remove this. You're not going to do anything that is not natural. At the back of my mind, I'm like, ay, hapana, this one, God, you're very unfair. And at this point, we are preparing for anything because my doctor was telling me that because every time we went for scanning, the fibroids kept showing an increase in size. Remember, we started with 4 and 3 centimeters. Now at this time, one of them is 6 centimeters, the other one is 5 centimeters. Now my doctor is telling me there's a threat of me having CS because if those fibroids hinder the way of the baby, we have to choose CS, or maybe I might even overbleed. So there's that risk of either choosing CS or going normal. And I remember at a particular time we had a conference in church, and one of the man of God that had visited, he didn't even know I was pregnant, but he called me and was like, this baby, you're not going to go through CS. You'll not go through CS. I'm not saying CS is bad, but at this point, that is what he had seen. And then another day, he just came and poured oil on my stomach, and like there was just a lot of woe in how this baby was coming. He poured oil and he was telling us, this baby is going to be preserved. This baby is going to be well. And I kept agreeing with that word. Now, for me being me and a mother and trying to see how I'm going to save this child either way, I kept seeing this option of, in case it's going to block the way when the baby is supposed to come, please let's choose CS. I was like, please, let's save this baby at all costs. And my husband was like, no, from day one, he was constant. We are not going to have a CS. We are not going to have. So at some point, I felt he was being unfair in as much as he was having the faith of no CS. There's this point I felt, you're not thinking about me. it's my body. Whatever, my body, my choice. It's my body. I need to have a say on what I need to have for my body. I don't want to have anything happen to this child. But he didn't hear any of it. He was like, we're not going to have CS. We're not going to have CS. So we left the whole process to take its course. And on 6th of June, I went into labor at around 3 a.m. Now, I know what labor is. And I was like, okay, I've had false labors before. And this kind of looks like false labor. But again, I felt the consistency of the pain. And I was like, the way it's going, haiendi vizuri. And then there's this thing of if you had a first child, the second one comes almost faster than the first. I was like, I had this app that showed the contraction pacing. And I kept checking the timing of the contraction, and it was very close. Normally, if you start laboring, you would, maybe first labor it will be now, and then the next one maybe after 1 hour or 2 hours. Now this girl was in a hurry to come out after deposit had ended, sitting on it. She was ready to come out. Now my labor was, the longest recorded was 10 minutes. Every other was 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And I'm like, apana. I woke up my husband. I was like, I'm in labor. We need to prepare. So my husband was in a rush. I called my friend called Maureen. She was just a neighbor there. And I told her, hey, my dear, we are going into labor. She came in immediately. And we went into the hospital that I had booked. Now, at this time, it's 7 a.m. because, well, I was managing the pain. 7 a.m. So they check, and the nurse that checked me, she was like, the doctor that checked, she told me that I'm in 2 centimeters dilated. Wait, from 3 a.m. to 7 p.m., I'm 2 centimeters. Now, in this hospital, the labor room is here and the theater is here. I was like, I'm opting because I was not thinking about what I went through with the first child. So I was like, I was very sure, Mimi, I am going for theater. I am not going through this whole pain again. Now, when she was checking, she was telling me, the way you're contracting really well. Mtoto utakane sana kwa tumbo. I'm like, but the pain. So, I'm in labor, nimepelekwa kwa place yenye nilikuwa na labor. I'm just there with my husband. Obviously, he's like, okay, what do I do? I'm like, nothing at this moment, because at this moment, hata kusugua back haijaanza. Kudance na migongo bado haijaanza. Then, I'm now me, my friend, and my husband. She can only do what she can because she doesn't know so much about labor. And then, lucky enough, I found favor with these nurses because they could allow other people to come in and stay with me even as I was laboring. Normally, they'll chase people out, and then it's just the nurse and whoever. This time, I have another childhood friend of mine called Maureen, another Maureen, who comes in. Yeah, she comes in. Lucky enough, she was just close by the hospital. She comes in and she's, the unfortunate thing, she had just broken her wrist. Was it her wrist or something? So she can't do much. She can only be there to help where she can, but she can't do much. But her presence was very important at that moment. And then another friend came in later on when I was in labor, Phoebe. So I had like 3 support system helping me. Now my husband could go and wait from outside. The nurses were very nice. This one I can mention this hospital, Gyno Solutions. Clean, nurses friendly. Amazing people completely. So the nurse would come and show me how to do the rubbing of the back, or show them how to do the rubbing of the back. And then they would just at least they are patient enough to help me through the whole process. Now, at this point, my friends have decided to get me a pineapple and what else? I don't know what else, but something else, because even at this moment I was puking and I couldn't retain anything. So they decided to get me pineapple so that it could speed up the labor process. I'm telling you at this point, bring even stone. I will eat if it's going to help me push that baby. At around 1:30, yeah, 1:30. At around 1:30, I'm feeling this pain. In as much as imekuwa consistent, there's something different. So I tell my nurse, something is different. Can you go and check me? Because I'm feeling like I need to push. So she's like, we're supposed to check you again at 2. I'm like, no, let's go check. She was like, okay, let's go check. So checking, I'm already 8 centimeters. To them, this was like, kwani what's happening? From 2 kimbia. You're already 8 centimeters. I'm like, yeah. So they come, and then one nurse was very, I don't know how to put it in a nice way, but because it was really, how she did it was in a nice way. Akanidanganya, achocha nikudunge shindano ya energy. Kumbe ilikuwa ya kuniinduce. Kanidunga kwa thighs. Between 1:30 and 2, it was like a summation of all the pain that any pain ilikuja. With all the neighbors, all the relatives, everyone that cared and mattered was there, came in. I'm telling you, I was in pain. And I remember at 2, exactly at 2, I told that nurse, no, I feel like pushing. I need to push. She rushed me and she was like, hey, you are ready. Biombio kwa kitanda, setting up everything, putting everything in order. Every nurse was like, hey, let's rush and do this thing. Now, the thing with this hospital, they had put a gospel song, and my husband was there. That gave me that morale, at least. Hey, someone I know is here. But they were really nice. And they're like, okay, this is how you do it. Millie, hold this leg here. No, not leg. There was a place. They have a place. Hold it and hold it this place. And then when you feel this now, push. Now, the grace that I had with this, and then I'm telling you, the 2 pregnancies are totally different. The other one, I can't even remember how many times I pushed. But this one, I pushed only 2 times. But now with the second push, I was telling my husband, I can't, I'm tired. But he kept insisting, no, you are strong, you can do this. I'm telling you, on the 3rd push, that's it. The baby came out. Healthy baby, crying, lungs out, and all those things. My friends, apparently when the doctors were taking care of me in in the labor room, my friends were busy taking photos of my of my baby as she was. They took amazing photos of my baby. Obviously, they didn't go in, but they just requested for the photos. And we had at least that first photo of the baby. Went into the recovery room. Now I'm all good, like everything was really good. I had to stay there on and then I'm giving birth on this from nowhere. Milk not there. Now they have to give my baby formula because my milk is not coming out. According to them, they can't discharge you until the milk starts coming out. So luckily enough, by Wednesday, the milk was coming out. That was on Tuesday. By Wednesday, the milk was coming out. On Thursday, they discharged me. Night of Thursday, that night, all of a sudden I can't breathe. I'm telling my husband I'm having difficulties breathing. He thinks maybe nimelala vibaya or something. I don't know. It didn't look like it was getting that bad. I'm waking up and I'm like, I'm still not okay. All of a sudden, I can't move. My legs are I can't like literally put one step. I can't make steps. My husband was like, no, I'm rushing you back to the hospital. So we go to the hospital. the doctor that was attending to me, I could tell something was wrong because he kept picking. First, he puts the drip for pain. After that, ananiekea drips juu ya the antibiotics. There a lot of things that were going on. At just that visit, I had 3 drips because there are many things and you could tell the fear in his eyes. There was just something he picked that I didn't know at that point. He kept putting drip after drip, one for pain, one for what, like something like that. So at this point, my child is crying back home. My husband now is running back to the house, trying to bembeleza mtoto. Also come back with the breast pump so that I can get some nini for baby, maziwa for baby. Maziwa itoki mingi because I'm on medication. Anakimbiza, so he was up and down. And at this point, he's afraid what's going to happen to my wife. The baby is just 2 days old. But at least we managed to take that one. It was now in control. And I was okay. And the baby became healthy. We went on well. All I can say is this child came in as a miracle child, not the other miracle child that you've had before. But God has sustained this child all the way. And also with my first son, God has been faithful. They have all been okay. And they're all awesome kids, beautiful kids, amazing kids, handsome and beautiful. Just something that I may need to add that is quite important is those clinics that we need to go to, especially when you're pregnant. Every pregnant woman needs to go for them because that is where the doctor picks any irregularities or any complications. It's well documented. Like now, the doctors that were able to take care of my pregnancy when I was going to have now my child, the delivery period, they had a history. They knew there was a point where I had low blood pressure. They knew I had used Sustain. They knew there was a complication in the beginning with the formation and all those things. So going in blindly, I think that is something that we should just leave for hizo siku za kitambo. For now, make sure you attend every clinic. It's important because doctors pick anything in that season. And I remember when I desired a baby shower for myself, I picked, it's important you pick what you want or else people will do what they want, not for you. It's like this saying, when you're having a wedding, make sure you plan your wedding or people will plan for you your wedding and they will put the ideas on your wedding. So I made sure I told my baby shower was planned by my sister-in-law and my friend called Emily and Brenda. Brenda is my sister-in-law. So they planned my baby shower and they were very intentional in making sure that I had what I want, not what people wanted, because that is another area that I think we need to make sure there's a boundary. In as much as you're doing it for me, let it be also what I want, not what you want. So I told them, like, please don't get boring colors, get something and then something that is not so common and just flow. And I gave them like, okay, at least invite my friends, my family, so that they can be part of this journey, because it's been such an amazing and bumpy journey, all at one caution. So one particular, okay, this is funny because the baby shower was supposed to be on a Saturday, but I think due to an event that was happening at our church, most ladies would end up being at the event and they wanted to be part of the baby shower. So they pushed it to Sunday. Now, for those people that don't read WhatsApp messages, some of them started texting me in the evening of Saturday. I'm so sorry I couldn't make it. I'm like, for what? Some of them, I hope you had a nice day. I'm like, yes, it's Saturday. So I could pick now something was supposed to happen on that Saturday. Now, I suspected if it's not that Sunday, then somewhere around that weekend that was coming in, a baby shower was coming. And on Sunday, I started noticing some of my friends were in a particular color. But I couldn't conclude because, again, some of them were not in that color. So they managed to trick me in such that some of them opted to change later, while some of them, because of how far they come from, they had to put on whatever that was agreed. So I noticed, I'm like, that one is in, that one, what's up with this color today? And I'm like, wait, these are my friends. Are we having a baby shower? Are we not? And then I'm like, but this one also is not in this color. Okay, maybe it's a coincidence. Then my husband, one of my friends called Aunt Christine, the baby shower was being done at her place. She's like, Aki Mili, I am so sorry. Aki, I'm going to be away and I don't know when I'm coming back. Maybe at mtoto atakuwa amekuja and I wanted to give you my gift. So can you at least come? Let's go home and then I give you my gift. And for me, I was like, hey, even another opportunity for me to have tea in your house. Let's go. Kumbe, that's where the baby shower was. So my husband is like, you guys go and then let me go and pick something and come back from Quick Mart because it's just close to Quick Mart. Ndio tumefuatana. When we are getting to our house, because she lives in a storied house, I'm like, hey, my dear, kwani uko which floor? Mimi nimechoka. The last time I checked, you're in this floor. Now you're on this other floor. I was like, natwende tu at least so that nikupatie my gift personally. Opening that door. I'm not into surprise cry. But this one, I'm seeing the people that I knew, even if they knew my baby shower, I knew they would play part in it, one or another, but I didn't know they would make that much effort to be there. Hey, kwanza me, my surprise, I think, was this my childhood friend. More. Because we had just reconnected after so many years. So I didn't know if she was coming, if she was not coming. Anyway, just put her name there. And then some people at my workplace. And then, like, it was such a it was a blend of a community, literally. Work people, church people, childhood friends. So it was amazing. Now, the fun of this baby shower was they came together to bring a group gift. And other than that, they still added their own individual gift and still had some money just to take care of hospital bill in case we needed. And they didn't make it so much of, oh, okay, now that you're going to be a mom, so this is going to be this and that. No, it was fun. Like at every moment, we even had how do I put it? Like, when someone would say something, everyone would be like, oh, so it became like a what? I don't know how to put it. But there was that thing that made the whole shower fun. It was not just a thing that is so strict. No, it was so much fun. And oh my God, the cake was beautiful. I can't even... Nilikuwa nasikia uchungu kutoa some petals that were on on that cake. It was so beautiful. And now to even crown it all, women in that baby shower took time to pray for me, yeah? As in, it wasn't just the thing of people meeting and having carnal discussions and just saying whatever they want to say and that is it. No. I'm telling you, these women held hands and prayed for me. Hey, like, and I think that is one of the things that even made the transition into having this child easy. It wasn't just any meeting. It was a divine ordained meeting. It was really powerful. By the time I was leaving that place, it was, okay, you leave at your own time after everything, but we were leaving at around 12 because of the beautiful fellowship we had. And I left with a whole gunia of things. Makia had some things that I had in the house. So it was a good landing space for me as soon as the baby came. And maybe if something I can advise to friends, in as much as mommy is getting ready and preparing to have this child and the father, they're obviously putting things in order, just help them have a soft landing by the time this baby is coming. Because when this baby comes, no matter how much of a guru you are and how much you know how to take care of babies, there's a thing each baby comes with that is different. And maybe the first baby you had was calm. This one can be something else. So maybe you don't have sleep, you don't know. So for me, I think just help moms and these dads to have a soft landing by the time this baby is coming. They will take care of the baby the rest of their life. Just take care of this moment. That's what I can say. Now, we are done with the baby shower. All is looking good. On rules and regulations. You're used to at least having enough sleep. All of a sudden, you can't have sleep. And then your husband is really trying the best he can. But unfortunately, it's not how much you want. So your husband is experiencing postpartum. But then, do you know, people think husbands don't experience it? They do. Husbands experience postpartum depression as much as women do. Only that we focus mostly on women, maybe because we literally crash. But also husbands go through it because when the baby is crying and maybe the mother is doing something else and he needs to be with the baby, they don't know how to handle that cry. They'll try to pat the baby, they'll try to do what, but it's not the same. So they go through it. And I remember even as we went through the postpartum depression and we're like, oh my God. And when we wanted to say something negative, we remember the journey. We are like, God, thank you for this gift. Regardless, thank you for this gift. That reminding ourselves of the gift of this child made this postpartum season have an, how do I put it, an ease transition into normalcy. Because, here two positive vibes kept us sane. And also, people, I don't know why people keep off when baby come and give you space. No, I keep people. We need that help. We need that that new face, that person that is just going to call your mtoto for a second as you take a breather. You need that moment. And I remember when I was leaving the hospital, my friend Maureen, childhood friend Maureen, she was there on the day I gave birth. She was there on the day I was in the hospital being checked in and all those things. And when I was coming out of the hospital, she made sure I was there. And she held the baby when I was leaving the hospital all the way to my house. And she made sure she was there. And she kept coming until, I think, when I was now a little bit comfortable. That's when she was like, okay, now, lea mtoto. But she was present. So yeah, help someone in that transition. Don't just, oh, congratulations, and leave them like that. Oh my goodness. It's such a new shock at that point. If I would maybe advise parents that are maybe waiting for the fruits of their womb, one thing I know is that God is not a liar. He will give you that baby at His time. Don't lose hope. We waited, by the way, and this child came at His appointed time. And if I was to give maybe another advice to the parents that are expecting or have newborns, what I would say is take that, for expecting parents, take that pregnancy graciously. Don't be too hard on yourself. You're doing well. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Do what you can. What you can't, don't. Don't be in so much pressure of what is a tradition on how to do things. If in your case, CS is the option, please go for it. If you have normal delivery, please go for it. But at the end of the day, make sure you do what is right for you and your partner. Plan financially. Wanakujanga na sahani yao, but please plan financially, because I know there's a case of where NHIF, you depending so much on NHIF, alafu nasikia, oh, there's a problem doing what, now you have to go in your pocket as they sort that kind of thing. So please plan financially, especially for the hospital. Hii ingine ndo wanakujanga na sahani ya ukweli. For the ones that are taking care of the small babies, when you feel like you can't do it and unasikia tu, by the way, I just need to leave this baby here and go for a walk and not do, like, some babies can cry. They can cry and there's just so much stress that comes with it. What I can advise is this: ask for help when you need it. Don't be a super mom. Don't try to be a super mom or a super dad. When you need help, ask for it. Call your friend, call your mom, call whoever that can help you. Just to take that baby for 10 minutes, go for a walk, come back refreshed, because that baby needs you. That baby needs you sober. That baby needs you straight. And they can eat all the things in your brain, but you need to rejuvenate. So ask for help when you need it. Don't kill yourself trying to be a super parent. I think that's what I can add for parents that are bringing up children. But above all, you have a blessing. Enjoy your blessing when you have that child. Regardless of what they're financially or not, you have your blessing. And just a testimony, I've never bought a diaper for my child. I've never gone to a store to buy a diaper, because I had a support system that kept coming to visit and coming in with diapers and what I need, tissue, what. So don't feel like you have to do everything if you have a community that can take care of you. Allow people to take care of you, because you need it. And I'd advise someone that, as I was advised, if a friend is coming in with a diaper, please, when your baby is 0 to 3 months, ask for 6 months and above. Don't ask for the 1 year when they're just very young, 0 to 3. Just get diapers that can take care of you after friends have stopped visiting. And that's my bun in the oven story.